Hey guys, so stream's gonna start in about 2 minutes. So let's get about 2 minutes. Wait for everyone to get in here. Basically, we're gonna talk about why the market's crashing and what altcoins have been holding up. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2 minutes here, and then we're gonna start. You can also pop out the chat here so y'all can see it. What's going on, David? Yeah, we're gonna talk about why we're dumping and what altcoins are doing good. So I'll definitely make sure to cover that in the video. Good to have you here. All right, about 5 more seconds and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and start. All right, so hey everyone, hope you all doing good today. I also have the moderator in the Discord, one of them, Dudwa. Hey Dudwa, how you doing today, man?
Hey man, doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So basically today we're going to talk about the market, again, what's going on, why it's going down, and what altcoins have been doing good, and kind of which ones we're looking at for this rebound. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So one of the big reasons for the market declining today, there's actually a couple. One of them is the Kazakh government resigns, shut down internet amid protests, and causes Bitcoin network hash rate to tumble 13.4%. So there's basically a big protest going on in the Kazakh government, and in retaliation to that, they shut down the internet, which is crazy to see. In this article, you see on Wednesday, Kazakhstan, the second largest country in the world when it comes to Bitcoin mining hash rate, experienced unprecedented political unrest due to a sharp rise in fuel prices. As a result, the country's presiding cabinet resigned, but not before the state-owned Telegram shut down the nation's internet, causing network activity to plunge to 2% of daily heights. The move dealt a severe blow to Bitcoin mining activity in the country. As per data compiled by YCharts, the Bitcoin network overall hash rate declined 13.4% in the hours after the shutdown, from about 205,000 petahash per second to 177,000 petahashes per second. So that is a huge drop. The country's accounts for 18% of Bitcoin's network hash activity. So that's pretty crazy. And basically, they do have a big announcement. Basically impact on the Bitcoin network. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then scrolling down, it says just days prior, the Kazakh government removed price caps on liquefied petroleum gas used for car fuel to align with market conditions, which doubled its price overnight, sparking violent protests. At the time of publication, the internet remains inaccessible in Kazakhstan. If extended, the consequences could be severe, as internet services aside, the Data Center Industry and Blockchain Association of Kazakhstan expects the country to generate $1.5 billion from legal cryptocurrency mining and another $1.5 billion in illicit activities over the next 5 years. So you can see basically how big of an impact they do have, right? So hopefully they basically turn on the internet in place of a better word, but because they do have such a high hash rate and impact on Bitcoin mining there, So definitely something to keep in mind. It says the country's low energy prices have attracted both domestic and foreign entities to set up shop for Bitcoin mining, according to global petrol prices. Electricity in Kazakhstan costs on average about 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour for businesses, a fraction of the 12 cents per kilowatt hour paid in US businesses. So, Dudwa, what's your opinion on this? Basically, what Kazakhstan is doing right now and kind of its impact. And do you think this is a long-term thing, or do you think it's kind of going to be a short-term effect and other countries are going to pick up basically the hash rate?
Yeah, so just to add a little bit of context to this, kind of on a macroeconomic scale, Kazakhstan, as well as some of the other ex-Soviet bloc countries, they have some of the world's greatest deposits of minerals, of natural gas, of oil. So, when these countries do something like removing price caps on liquefied petroleum, um, and the price of those things doubles overnight, there tends to be a lot of government unrest and things of that nature. So you're always looking at kind of unstable market conditions when anything like that happens. And I think the big thing here is, right, like the electricity cost being so low in a place like Kazakhstan, which is why both domestic and foreign investment has been going on there as far as Bitcoin mining goes. I do think that we're going to see other places pick up the slack as far as that goes. And I also don't think that this sort of unrest lasts super long term in places like this. I think in general, it's we're probably going to be looking at a couple of days, maybe a week or so of this. But we expect probably the internet will be turned back on and everything will kind of go back to the status quo there. The governments in these countries tend to be pretty strict about things, so I don't think they're gonna let something like this go on for too long. I want to point out one other thing. The Data Center Industry and Blockchain Association of Kazakhstan expects the country to generate $1.5 billion from legal cryptocurrency mining over the next 5 years. So, I don't think anybody is going to lose $1.5 billion. So this is probably more of a short-term issue than a long-term issue, but it is going to have some immediate impacts.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, some good points you made in there. Like I said, it's going to have, I think short-term impact. But hopefully like with the China FUD and when they pulled out of their, basically all their mining rigs and shut those down, over time, the market kind of, made up for that. So I think definitely there's going to be some people that are hungry to try to get some of this hash rate and basically get it for themselves. So I think definitely you're spot on with that and kind of the impact it's had right now, but definitely looking for a longer term rise after the short term dip that we do have. Now, next article I want to talk about is basically one by CNBC, and it's making me actually, there you go. Okay, so there's an article by CNBC. It says Federal Reserve puts wheels in motion for balance sheet reduction. So again, this was another one that was published today. So kind of, two articles unfavorable basically for Bitcoin. But it says minutes from the Fed's December meeting indicated that officials are ready to aggressively dial back policy help. One key aspect, the central bank's balance sheet, was the subject of extended discussion with policymakers, pointing to a reduction in bond holdings in the coming months. Members expressed concern about inflation and said the jobs market is nearing full employment. Stocks slid following the release while government bond yields rose. So what's this mean? Well, basically bond yields rose because people, bonds are a more safer investment versus stocks versus these risky assets that we're in, crypto included. So basically when the Fed is saying, hey, we're going to dial back this policy, we're going to dial back this help and basically continue to increase inflation, a lot of people see that as a negative thing. Therefore, they sell all their assets so they can have that cash, have that security, and get into bonds as well. Scrolling down here in the article, it says the Federal Reserve at its December meeting began plans to start cutting the amount of bonds it is holding, with members saying that a reduction in the balance sheet likely will start sometime after the central bank begins raising interest rates, according to minutes released Wednesday. While officials did not make any determinations about when the Fed will start rolling off nearly the $8.3 trillion in treasuries and mortgage-backed securities it's holding, statements out of the meeting indicated that process could begin in 2022, possibly in the next several months. So basically saying that in the next several months, we could have, the Fed start to dial back a lot of its aid that it's having and basically increase these interest rates. I think that people are starting to really try to jump the gun, you could say, with securing their assets and selling a lot of their riskier assets. And it says almost all participants agree that it would likely be appropriate to initiate balance sheet runoff at some point after its first increase in the target range for the federal funds rate. Market expectations currently are for the Fed to start raising its benchmark interest rate in March, which would then mean that balance sheet reduction could start before summer. So again, having them start this in the next couple of months is definitely scaring some people. And again, one of the big reasons for the sell-off that we had today. So basically just looking at this, again, I don't want to read this whole thing and bore you, but for rate hikes, taperings, people see that as negative because this whole time they've been injecting money into the economy and basically pumping the market artificially with both the stock market and the crypto market, right? So they had stimulus checks. They just kept doing everything year after year. And now it's finally starting to come to a halt and people are saying, wait, I want to secure my gains because then, if we raise interest rates or, and then inflation continues to increase, well, at that time, my money's going to be worth less. So let me take out all my money, let me spend it, and basically let me secure all these profits that I've had over the past couple of years. So that's really something that people are thinking about right now. And again, you also have taxes, people selling their cryptocurrency to pay taxes. You can definitely see some more sell-offs coming up. Again, I'm going to go over some technical analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum in a minute, but basically just want to highlight two of the big reasons. Again, this Federal Reserve tapering and Kazakh government resigning and shutting down the internet amid protests, which again causes their hash rate to tumble. So I believe these two catalysts are one of the big reasons why the market is dumping today, as well as a couple other reasons that I'm going to go over. But Dude Wall, what's your opinion on this Federal Reserve and, basically soon kind of cutting back and increasing those interest rates even higher?
Yeah, so this is something that I think has been on a lot of people's radars for a couple of months now. It was bound to happen given the market conditions overall in the last, I would say, year and a half or so, ever since the government started pouring a lot of money into the economy. So I see this as a natural progression, but you always kind of want to be wary of when it happens, because even though it's on people's radar, when the news itself breaks, it happens to cause a downturn like this, like we're seeing. So I think one thing that maybe we've talked about at length before, and I know that some of the moderators in our Discord, I'm thinking of one or two in particular, are really focused on keeping up with these macroeconomic trends of what's happening. So, for example, this impact that the U.S. government, their decision making has on the crypto market is pretty profound, right? So I would say, like, if you're an investor in crypto, don't just keep your scope of focus narrowly on the crypto market. Keep it kind of broad as well. You always want to be, keeping up with current trends and what's going on with, the U.S. government, what's going on with the Chinese government, what's going on with the Russian government, some of these big countries, and just like the stock market today in the U.S. Not going super great there either. So I think I've noticed some correlation more so between the U.S. stock market and the crypto market lately. And I think that was something that was bound to happen as well with more institutional investors flooding in and stuff like that. So keep your eyes open on macroeconomic trends. I think really that can't be understated. You want to be kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to that. So the technical analysis is great. I think data has been doing a good job of kind of saying like, oh, we're bouncing between this level and that level, and we could potentially break through if we get above. I think like the target nowadays is like 53K, 52K, something like that. And then, I think the floor right now, the support is like what, 40 to 42K. So we're kind of like bounded by that range. But when these macroeconomic events, which is considered systematic risk, right? So there's always unsystematic risk and systematic risk in markets. Systematic risk is the type of risk you cannot diversify out of, right? So no matter how much you diversify, you're still going to be exposed to it. And these macroeconomic events are the systematic risk. So you cannot escape these. You just have to be wary of them. And if you smell trouble brewing, just go into stable coins, right? So I think one thing that I have done over the last 48 hours or so is I went nearly almost 100% into stable coins. It just, it seemed like things in the market were headed towards some sort of downturn. It's maybe a little bit of a pessimistic look right now, but tax season is also coming up. That's another point that maybe we want to discuss at some point. But yeah, there's a couple of things that you just want to keep your eyes on and stay open to. And if you do that, like I think that'll help keep your positions in the green.
Yeah, definitely. You hit a spot on. I think, having that nice balance of Tether and cryptocurrencies, having good exposure to both. But again, if you do have these insane gains, you do see negative sentiment in the market and kind of, a lot of FUD that's coming out. Maybe it's best to start getting that more, 80% USDT, 20% crypto. I think that's definitely a good point that you made there, and just kind of really assessing the market and, like you said, using events such as tax season and stuff that's coming up. And, real world, what would you do? Of course, you would sell some crypto to help pay for taxes, right? Especially because if you've made all those gains, that, is definitely helps that, you could have that crypto for that extra income, as well as, helping pay some of those taxes. So definitely some good points there. And yeah, I definitely think we should keep an eye on this and definitely future events that are coming. So very good analysis there. But now let's actually look at the market and kind of what the market has been doing. So you can see here that a lot of the coins today aren't doing good on, at all. So you can see Bitcoin is down over 7%. And you can see that Ethereum's down 9%, Binance coin's down. Basically every coin is down. And we can even look at the top gainers today. And the top gainers today, this coin, Leo coin, is up 0.87%. And XDC coin is up 0.03%. But literally everything else is down. Okay. Even stable coins are down, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so again, everything is down right now. And I think that, even when you see this, a lot of people, sell everything and they get scared. But really, when you see this, I think you should definitely look at coins to buy. So really quick, just going over the watch list here on some coins I am very bullish on. One of those being Fuse Network. If y'all aren't in Fuse Network, it's up over 31% today. Over a week, it's up 445%. Basically, there are some big names behind this. If you were around a couple days ago, there was actually a $2 million market buyer on Fuse Network, and I saw a big Twitter account that was liking some of the messages of people that were mentioning the ticker symbol on it. So I believe this is a big reason why Fuse is pumping right now. And you can see it's ranked 469, so still very low. For those who are wondering what it actually is, if you go ahead and go to their website, fuse.io, you can see it's an infrastructure for open source money. So it says launch community-centric payment systems and token economies on an Ethereum-compatible blockchain. Okay, and basically, if you click the About section, it says a highly skilled, diverse team of blockchain and web-based technological experts have been assembled in order to execute on our ambitious vision of putting truly democratized and borderless money into the hands of millions. So they're backed by Aleph, Collider Ventures, Wolf Edge, TRGC, Spark Capital. So a lot of big names there, and they have a very, very good team. And again, the team is doxed. They do have a very good team, and they do have a lot of big developments coming up if you go to their Twitter as well. So definitely look at the Fuse Network. I think it's going to have a ton of potential over the next couple of months, and something that I think would be a good buy. Of course, not financial advice, but possibly on a dip, buying some of that. Next is going to be the Dusk Network. So Dusk Network is at 73 cents now, and this is basically one of the leaders in the ZK narrative that a lot of people think are going to take 2022 by storm. Basically, ZK rollup, zero knowledge. So basically, having privacy in all your transactions, not being recorded. People love their privacy, especially nowadays. So I think Dusk is doing very well. They do have a test net on February 1st. So definitely go ahead and watch them for that. I do believe we do see a pump leading into that test net. So definitely something to watch out for there. And then also VLaunch. So VPAD has been pretty good too. It's actually an influencer-based coin and one that was doing very well. Even during this downturn, you can see it's only down less than 2%. And you have some big influencers such as Crypto on Twitter. He has over 600,000 followers. So he's behind this coin, and he pumps coins a lot. So definitely something to keep in mind for that. Go ahead and watch VLaunch, and definitely, it couldn't hurt to put a little bit in this as well. And then also a coin I haven't talked about too much is Decimated. If you look at their website, DIO is the token, and they have a very, very graphically intense game from Metaverse, and I think this will do very well. It's going to take some time to play out, but definitely one you could see holding long term for that. And then we'll go ahead and go to CoinGecko. There's some other coins I've been looking at. One of the big ones is actually Osmosis. So Osmosis is the DEX on the Cosmos network. For anyone who knows, Atom was doing very well. If you go, Atom was actually one of the top gainers yesterday. It's kind of like, you had AVAX, its run up, you had Phantom, you had Matic, and then now I believe the Atom network is actually going to do very well. So actually I'll go ahead and search Atom here, and you can see yesterday what a nice run up that it did have. So I'll go ahead and search Cosmos. There you go. And then we can see here for their chart. So let's just go over the 1 month chart. Okay, you can see how much it's risen. So just from 1 month ago, I mean, it was $24 and then it ran up to a high of over $40. So almost 100% growth in a month. And, it's had a nice little pullback recently. So this could be a good buying opportunity. But Osmosis, again, this is the main DEX on Atom. Not a lot of people really know about this, surprisingly. But if you look at its gain, I mean, in a week, it's gained nearly, 60, 70% and went to a high of over $8.50. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And if you go to their website, osmosis.zone, it's actually very user-friendly. And you can even see here, if you look at here, it's kind of got a cool concept here. You click enter the lab, and basically it has a little swap feature here. And basically it has all their pools, assets, staking, voting, etc. So definitely something that I really like and something to keep in mind if you are looking for those DEXs that have that user interface, easy user interface, as well as kind of that, cool factor, you could say, and attractability that a lot of these other DEXs do not have. So definitely Osmosis coin, check that out. And then also Crom. Crom is another one that's was doing fairly good yesterday. It went up quite a lot. So definitely looking at Crom. It is a DEX as well on the Ethereum network, and one that has low fees. So one that I'm definitely keeping an eye on as well. So just some good coins to keep in mind if you are looking at some to buy during this dip. But with that, let's go ahead. Actually, Dudewall, did you have any coins that you are looking at right now specifically?
No, I think great points on everything that you brought up. I did want to add one thing though. So in these times of kind of uncertainty, and I think maybe like going back to mid-November or so, we've kind of been having a is it going to run, is it going to fall sort of conversation. And if you look at like super large cap coins, especially a lot of these network coins, right? Like for example, I'm going to highlight two here: Matic and Phantom. There have been points where each of these super large cap coins have been a little bit oversold. So I think in about mid-November or so, Matic went down to like $1.30, $1.40 or so. And then, it felt like it was a little bit oversold at the time, and it had a nice little run up from about 1.4 or so to about 2.8 in mid to late December. So that's like a 2x right there, right? On something relatively safe. And now I think we've seen the same thing with Phantom. Phantom in about mid-December or so went down to about 1.2. And just recently yesterday, I think, or maybe even this morning, it broke $3. So I think like in these periods of uncertainty, you can kind of look at these super large cap. And it used to be the case with Ethereum, 3-4 years ago. You could always look at Ethereum when things kind of went sideways, when things started to go down. There would be points where Ethereum would be super oversold, and you could make a quick 2x off of that in like a 2-3 week, maybe 4 week time frame. So I would say keep your eye on the super large caps as well. And if you think that they're oversold, and if you have faith in them long term, they could always be a good buy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, right? We've seen all these large caps, a lot of good ones actually, perform strongly over time. And during this market, the low caps are going to be the first ones to go. You're going to see those big 20, 30% drops in low caps versus these large caps, maybe 5, 10% at the most for those. So definitely find that long-term viability, find large caps with good fundamentals as well as technicals. And that's kind of your gold mine and hedging strategy, as well as keeping some USDT. But yeah, great analysis there, definitely. Looking at some comments here. Again, also comment if you want me to look over any coins or do some TA on coins. We'll be around for about another 10, 15 minutes to do some of that. But looking at some comments, Woo to Raw says it's rough out there in the markets today. It definitely is. Times like these, just definitely keep a level head. Get outside, do something, take your mind off the markets. Again, they're going to be around next year, so just take a day or two off and kind of ease your mind about it. Eventually, they will bounce. Philson says sad day. JC says fear in the market for sure. It's all in perspective. So yeah, JC's right. It's all perspective, right? So you can kind of either look at this at a negative or as a positive, where hey, I can use this to buy more on a dip. There's a coin I really like, and long term, or maybe they have an announcement coming up in February. Hey, I'm gonna use this opportunity to take advantage of the fear in the market and go ahead and buy coins. So definitely something to keep in mind. Again, always trying to look at the bright side of things. And then DSP says Antis Inu. So that was a coin we were talking about yesterday. Again, a coin that I believe has long-term viability. It's a meme coin. They call it the Shib Killer. Basically trying to combat Shiba Inu. It's a dog that was basically in World War II, and it has a good story behind it. Go to their website. Go ahead and check them out. Antis Inu. Very, very cool coin and community. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about some TA for Ethereum. So actually, let's just go ahead and do Bitcoin real quick since everyone's talking about Bitcoin recently. So right now we are looking at the daily chart. You can see I did draw a few lines here, some major support and resistance levels. So right now I do have a trend line resistance on Bitcoin. You can see here it resisted it, 3 times so far. And level I'm definitely looking at for us to break this downtrend that we have. Okay, this is the big line I am looking at. So if it climbs, over the next couple days, the level we're going to be looking at is about 45,200. Okay, so that's going to be a level we're seeing if we can break to get above this downward trend line. Now for these support levels, big support level that acted as support was on 24th of September, okay? About 5 times this bounced off supports, and this is a huge, huge support level around that 40,600 level. So if this breaks, definitely watch out. We could see a lot more downside, even as much as 30,000. So definitely something to keep in mind here if you are looking to switch over to stables. But I'm definitely watching that very closely. And then if we do have resistance, once we break this trend line resistance, looking at our next resistance of about 51,000. Okay, so it's 51,000 level, did act as resistance a couple times. So after this 45.2, looking at 51,000 afterwards. So, and then of course, that psychological 53,000 here, that was September 7th. A lot of people are looking at this resistance, so expecting a lot of shorting if we do get there. But if there are a lot of buyers, then will be a nice short squeeze to that. And then again, looking at that 60,000 level afterwards. So again, Bitcoin not looking too good. I would draw this trend line here and watch for it to break this trend line before you think about getting in any longs. Until then, I'm just waiting for that and hopefully waiting for the support to hold around 40 to 41,000. Next, let's go over and look at Ethereum. So Ethereum kind of drew the same trend line resistance, right? For this one, kind of a rough, trying to cut down the middle here. But you can see I have this trend line resistance that if we continue to go up from here, it's going to be around that $3,700 level, okay? So looking for Ethereum to kind of do a bounce here, especially at this horizontal support of 3350. And then if it does bounce from there, again, breaking this 3,700 and then continuing to this strong resistance of about $4,000, okay? That's also a mental level, so definitely keeping that in mind. If we do fall below this 3,400 level, then definitely can see us going all the way down to 2,770. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They want to say, hey, coins are going to bounce, everything's going to be good. But realistically, you got to look at everything objectively and being able to see both sides of the coin, okay? So definitely something I'm looking at here as we can see it continuing to dip and, possibly retest this 3,350 level. So definitely something I'm watching out for. But again, there is a lot of fear in the market right now. So definitely keep that in mind whenever you are, trading and seeing, what is a good buy point here. Dude, did you have any coins that you wanted to look at or any comments about the TA mentioned?
No, yeah, just wanted to reiterate here. We've been sort of talking about it, and the effect that maybe tax season is going to have. It's like on everybody's mind. I think, especially given the events of 2018. That's kind of probably causing some PTSD for a lot of us. But it's always a good idea, and this is sort of cliche, but you always want to try to dollar cost average into things. There's always a huge temptation to just kind of like market buy, for everything. But I think dollar cost averaging is the way to go. And maybe like specifically to dollar cost averaging, weight the amount that you want to dollar cost average specific to your outlook, right? So, for example, if you want to, buy a little bit, maybe at a price that you would consider high, and then maybe some that's medium and some that's low, if you feel like this is going to bounce pretty soon, maybe, buy 40% of your allocation at that price that you feel is a little bit high. And then maybe just like, another 40% at medium, and then maybe just leave 20% at that low price. But if you feel like, maybe short-term outlook is negative, weight that low price to like 40% or 50%. So just, be smart about your entries in. Nobody wants to catch a falling knife when things go down. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Perfect. Before we end this stream today, does anyone have any other coins that they would like to look at? I'll go ahead and give it a couple minutes, and then we will head out. Go and pull the chat over for y'all. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, right? Dollar cost average. Don't jump into coins right away. Wait for them to hit your levels. Slowly invest in them. And don't, again, market buy everything all at once. Because yeah, whenever there's downward momentum like this, is definitely a dark time. A lot of people are panicking, especially after that huge year we had in 2021. So definitely good points there, and something I think is very important for a lot of people to consider with that.
Yeah, and we should also consider the overall market psychology and market sentiment, right? Some of this stuff ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I think if enough people start feeling like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to go down because of XYZ reason, it might actually end up doing that. And that's the point where you can kind of like have a feeling that maybe things might be oversold and it's time to jump in. So always stay open to that sort of stuff. Don't necessarily always go with like the group sentiment. Do your own research and all that sort of stuff.
100%. Well, hopefully we had a good stream. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Again, definitely going to be having these more. But if y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to answer them. Please give the stream a like if you haven't. Really appreciate it. Real quick, JC mentioned IMEX. So real quick, we'll go ahead and do an analysis on IMEX to see where we're at with that. So for those who don't know, IMEX is Mutable X. It's kind of like a metaverse coin in a way, right? So they kind of deal with some like NFTs and kind of the metaverse gaming arena there. And there's a lot of talk of it, kind of being one of the next big coins. So also we can go to IMEX as well on coin market cap, and you can see right here. So IMEX, all time, it's been steady around this $4 to $5 level. So definitely could be a good buy here. It's ranked 107. So again, definitely still has some room to run. But going on FTX here, again, there's not too much data on this, so I'll go ahead and chart the big levels, the obvious ones basically for here. And then we'll go to lower time frames and kind of see where we go from there. So going over to the 4 hour right now, let's see if we can draw some of these important levels right now. So actually right now we're at a big support level on the 4 hour here, around that $4.08. Now, if we see, we'll draw this trend line here. So there was, you can see how much this trend line was in play on this 4 hour here. And then right now, if we kind of want to zoom in a little bit, if you do want to make this trend line something, then we could also, you could also say that's a trend line in a way. So in a sense, our next resistance would be approximately, if we bounce up from here around 460. Okay, so 460 is kind of our near-term resistance here. But again, looking at these levels here on the support, again, looking at around 408, kind of where we're at right now, say it bounced December 20th, and then even with resistance around here November 8th. And so, okay, so this is definitely a big level to watch out for, kind of where we're at right now. If we do continue to fall from here, then I can definitely see us, hitting that 312 mark. If you want, we can also pull up the relative strength index, okay? So for those who don't know, they actually updated the RSI. They added a moving average on top of it as well. So kind of cool there. But I'm going to go ahead and take that off just so we can see it objectively without it. But you can see right now, RSI is getting close to being oversold. So again, it's almost at that 30 level. And when it gets below it, we have seen some bounces on IMEX, some nice bounces as well. So again, it's getting very close to there. Yes, it could dip below a little bit and go below 30. But again, possibly starting DCAing like Dudwal was talking about. And then if we actually go to the daily chart, we can see again, it's still going down, still has some room to go down. The hourly though, the hourly is pretty deep right now. So you can see the hourly is almost at its all-time bottom, okay? It reached its lowest around December 20th again when it had that huge drop. So we are almost there. From that huge drop that it had, it went from around $4 all the way up to a high of $6, okay? So that's a 50% gain in the span of 7 days. So 1 week, it rose 50%. Could it do it this time? Maybe. Again, that's when it broke that trend line resistance, acted as support, and then just blew off, okay? So it could definitely do that. You know, this could be that technical new trend line resistance we're looking at. So possibly could break out here, break this 460 level, bounce, and then come back down, bounce off this trend line support now, and then continue on back to the $6 level to retest that high there. So definitely think we could see some action on here. That's definitely a good pick. And yeah, like JC was saying in the comments, possible DCA spot. Again, definitely something to look out for is that, you know, $4.10 where we're at right now. You know, it is a major support level, okay? This isn't just something where, hey, you know, I was thinking about buying. Well, no, this thing is actually bounced. You know, it did have a nice bounce from this level on the daily, December 20th. And then you can see it was resistance a couple times in November. So definitely one to keep in mind. And its all-time high has been near $9.38. So definitely something to keep in mind, you know, for a price target. If you are looking at the all-time highs, you know, still be over 100% gain if you do think it can reach that still. So yeah, IMEX could be a good buy here, currently 415. So again, up a little bit from a couple minutes ago. So definitely something to keep in mind. I know JC is pretty bullish on IMEX. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. And yeah, I think it definitely could do good if we do bounce from here. So
interestingly enough, as we've been talking, I think Bitcoin has dipped below 43,000. So I just saw on CoinGecko, it's 42.6 on Binance. And so I think we might see it testing the support level sooner than we thought we would.
Wow. Okay. Then yeah, like you said, Dudwal was saying, you know, Bitcoin tested it. So real quick, let's look at the Bitcoin chart. You know, so that 42.8 level. So again, that major support that we had right now is around that 40,800. So it's not far from it, right? We're looking for it to break this trend line resistance and then head to the upside from there. So maybe a little something like, you know, possible bounce here at the resistance, going back down, second bounce, and then, you know, maybe taking off from there. Or if it does end up, you know, going through, then again, maybe, you know, a couple little moves and then final bounce around this $30,000 level. So something to keep in mind. Again, you always got to be looking at all aspects of the charts. You can't just look at one. So something to look at, and you know, always consider both sides when you are trading this stuff. And you can see IMEX right now, $4.22. So again, just in that time that we were talking, it went up, you know, almost more than 4%. So that's the power of buying these strong support levels. If it holds, good. But if you DCA'd, at least you got some skin in the game right now. And then if it goes lower, hey, even better, right? You can get at a cheaper price. So don't see any other coins that people are recommending. Before we head out, Dudwal, do you have any other final comments?
No, man. Cool. Thanks for having me on. It's been nice and some great analysis as always. So thanks.
Appreciate it. No problem. And everyone, thanks for watching. Again, appreciate all of you watching this stream. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll definitely be doing more of these over the next couple days and weeks. So with that, till next time, thanks for watching.